Hello there guys and welcome to this weekend's action of IFMC. I am JWF1 and we are here at the Donington Park circuit here in the United Kingdom ahead of the European Grand Prix, and we're going to kick things off with the qualifying session to determine the grid for IFMC GP2, the feature race for tomorrow. And as you can see, bright and sunny here in Donington, just like it is in real life. It's been boiling hot over this week, and so that's pretty much that. Obviously, not really much news to talk about with GP2, other than the fact that Red Bull Academy have now got their original livery on after having a tribute livery to pay tribute to Robert Hunter's grandfather, who passed away now 3 weeks ago. And with that, they got two pretty much back-to-back victories in Spain, with George Russell winning the feature and sprint races, and now he's got quite a comfortable lead at the top of the Drivers' Championship ahead of Lando Norris and teammate Felix Rosenqvist. So Russell looking to stand on his authority with this season, of course. As you can see, it's bright and sunny. It's our first trip to Donington Park and our first of second visits to the United Kingdom. Just give me a moment to chuck this away. There we are. So anyway, as you can see, no qualifying bans to report on. So without further ado, let's get into the qualifying session ahead of Donington Park. So here we are then in the pit lane, and we're going to go to the end of the pit lane with that looks to be Yuri Vip, so we will wait and get this session underway. It's a 35-minute session as per usual. So here we are then. So a 35-minute session, and we will wait for some pit activity to get us underway. And so just look at the mirror there of Yuri Vip's RSPCA racing car, just to see if anybody is coming down pit lane. And we have some movement. I can't quite tell which car that is that's moving. That looks to be a Holy Trinity racing car. It is a Holy Trinity racing car of Sean Galile. So Galile is out on track for Holy Trinity Racing. Out on track he goes here at Donington Park as he just goes through turn one there, heading down the hill there towards the tricky left-hander before going up towards the old hairpin on the track. Yeah, I don't know why it's called the old hairpin when it isn't even a hairpin. Don't know if the old track was a hairpin around that corner, but that's that then. Up the hill then we go towards the left and right-hander on the track, and I think the main question will be what sort of lap times will the top class be running, and what even GP2 will be as well, as Galal there goes through Coppice corner there. The double right-hander. Also on track we have Mick Schumacher for Academy, and we also have Sergei Sirotkin, Lucas Yora, Yuri Vips, Louis Razia, Sasha Fenestraz, Lance Stroll, Nobuharu Matsushita, Dan Ticktum, Mitch Evans, Luca Giotto has just gone out, George Russell, Lando Norris are all expected to go out, as now Galao is onto the Grand Prix section of the course as he will now approach the Melbourne hairpin, as he will go around this hairpin now, then heading out the corner towards the final corner, passing the pit entrance. The pit entrance is on the left over there, not where the pit straight is. That pit entrance, well, is used now for the Grand Prix track, but back then in 2003, because this is what the layout is based on, it was only used for the national circuit, but we're using the Grand Prix circuit, so it's using the Grand Prix entrance to the pit lane. As now here comes Galile then, heading through towards turn one as he's just started his flying lap. And now heading out the corner, using as much curb on the outside as possible, heading down the hill towards the old hairpin. And let's see what he's able to do then in the first sector. I would presume the first sector is just before the old hairpin or just after it, as he will now go up towards the quick left-hander. I think this is called McLean's from what I understand. So out of the corner now then. I should know this because this is my local track, but I don't know. But anyway, up towards Coppice corner then we go, the double right-hander, and Galile looking like he's setting a smooth lap at this stage as he'll now go up towards the quick left-right chicane, which will take him onto the Grand Prix track now then, as he flicks the car in towards the left and then in towards the right out the corner and up towards the Melbourne hairpin he will go, possibly some overtaking for opportunities during the weekend at that corner, but we will see. As now in towards the Melbourne hairpin then goes Galile, and he'll be the one setting the benchmark time for everybody to beat, as he will now come up towards the final corner. There's Mick Schumacher in the background of him there. Let's see what the time's going to be then for Sean Galile. Around the final corner and onto the pit straight he will go, and Galile crosses the line. What's the time going to be? A 1 minute 19.253 for Goliath. Here comes Mick Schumacher to cross the line, and he slots to second with that lap. Sergei Sirotkin across the line he goes, only second for that lap as well. Here comes Lucas Jura, P4 for him. Yuri Vips, P5. Here comes Louis Razia across the line. He's only P5 with that lap. Here comes Sasha Fenestraz, who goes P6. Here goes Lance Stroll coming out of the final corner, and onto the pit straight we go. And Stroll is now going to cross the line to go fastest at the moment. So Stroll goes to the top of the timing sheets there in the GRM. Here comes Nobuharu Matsushita in the Holy Trinity Racing car. His teammate's currently on the front row, but let's see what Matsushita can do after getting the podium last time. Only 7th with that lap. Dan Ticktum slots to 10th. Here comes Mitch Evans in the Vortex Racing car. He slots to 3rd. Luca Giotto, 2nd place for him, so he gets onto the front row in the EMR. Here comes George Russell, and he goes across the line to go fastest at the moment, so Russell goes to the top, and it's only P7 there for Lando Norris, his nearest championship rival, so it looked like it wasn't a very clean lap there for Lando Norris, but as the track starts rubbering, maybe some held-ups were held up on that lap, so we will wait and see if the lap times will improve. But at the moment, it is currently George Russell at the top, with Luca Giotto, I believe, sharing the front row of him in 2nd place, and can't quite remember who's in 3rd at this stage. As Goliath's currently 4th. I think we'll have a look at the top 5 once Goliath peels in, but we still got, let's not forget, I think, how many cars were on track? I think it was about 13 that went out on track there then, and we kind of missed Goliath there because we were looking at how many cars were on track. In fact, it's Stroll who shares the front row. I do apologise. It's Giotto in 3rd and Goliath in 4th, but still we could have some improvements, and we still have, I think at least 9 cars to still do some laps. So let's quickly have a look there at the top 5. It is Russell from Stroll, and then it is Giotto, Goliath, and Evans. So that's currently how it looks. Santiago Urishi waiting to go out onto the track in the Mikamo car as Matsushita's back into the pits. And Norris and Russell there, the two Brits, are back into the pits themselves as they just go around the left-hander there then. As we wait for some more pit activity, Rosenquist expected to go out in the Red Bull Academy, and he's probably kicking himself at the moment after missing out on a possible victory in the feature race where he binned it down at turn 3 at Catalonia last weekend, but he's able to put that behind him here at Donington as Jolyon Palmer, one of the home favourites here at Donington, is out on track, and even this track as well. In real life, he's owned by his dad, Jonathan Palmer. And after his group managed to streak a deal to see them take over the track at the end of 2017, so it's now owned by Jonathan Palmer. This track is, along with most tracks in the UK, and it's pretty much adding to Jonathan's collection. And Jolyon hoping to do well. Might have a bit of an advantage around this track considering it's got his family's name on it, but that doesn't really mean anything. But we will wait and see on that, as Pierre Gasly's out on track, as is Felix Rosenquist. Norman Nato out on track for light-based Sony Racing. Santiago Urishi out there as well, as is Alex Lynn. So both Mikamo cars getting out at the same time. Nick De Vries in the GRM is out on track, as is Lucas Jura in the Vortex. Also on track we have Daniel Ticktum in the RSPCA Racing car. His teammate Yuri Vips has also just come out behind him. Joel Eriksson out on track as well, as is Mick Schumacher. He's back out. Louis Razia back out as well, and Stroll is also expected to come out, and he'll be open, and Paul will be hoping he doesn't get held up by Stroll as he's just coming out of pit lane. So there's Stroll there, so no problems there. As now heading down the pit straight goes Jolyon Palmer as he starts his first flying lap. In towards turn 1 he will go, and we'll see what sort of lap time he is able to produce as he heads down the hill now then towards the left-hander, which is very easy as it's a bit of... There's a little bit of undulation or whatever it's called down at that left-hander. Very easy to lose the back end out of that corner, as there's a bit of a bump in the middle of it, so the driver's having to be careful of that to ensure that the car is as still as possible without spinning off around there. As up through McLean's goes Jolyon Palmer, using a lot of the curb on the outside there up towards Coppice corner, and Palmer now then heading through towards the double right-hander at Coppice, as he will now head down towards the chicane. There's Stroll preparing to start his next flying lap, currently on the front row, hoping to beat Russell if he can. As now heading in towards the chicane then goes Jolyon Palmer, and let's see what he's able to do then. Around the left and right-hander he goes into the Grand Prix section, and he will now approach the daunting Melbourne hairpin. As mentioned a little earlier, there could be some overtaking opportunities being presented around here, but we will wait and see whether we will get that during the weekend. As Palmer now then goes up towards the final corner, and let's see what Palmer is able to do now then. Round the final corner and onto the pitch straight he will go, and across the line goes Julian Palmer. What's the time going to be? He slots to 9th with that lap. Here comes Pierre Gasly in the Academy car. Across the line he will go, and he slots to 2nd, so he gets onto the front row. Just a little bit off the pace from Russell. Rosenqvist goes to 3rd, so unable to beat Gasly and Russell off the front row. Here comes Norman Nato in the light-based Sony racing car. Let's see what he's able to do. And he slots only to 17th with that lap, so Nato struggling around here. Urishi in 19th, only 16th for Alex Lynn. As here comes Nick de Vries, who's currently 21st, yet to set a lap. See what he's able to do. Going around the final corner. In fact, there was 14 out on track previously. I do apologise. Heading down the pit straight and across the line will go Nick de Vries. And he goes to 4th for that lap, so P4 for Nick de Vries. Lucas Jora across the line, P10 for him to get his car to the top 10. Still 20th for Tickton, but improves. Still 18th for Vips, still 17th for Ericsson, as it's still 12th for Mick Schumacher. Here comes Louis Razier in the Willows Racing Grand Prix car, sorry. He improves, but stays in 14th. Here comes Lance Stroll then, currently 5th at this stage, looking to improve in the GRM as he can. Just 1 place behind teammate Nick de Vries. Both GRM juniors looking to be quite strong round here. Clearly, both Stroll and de Vries' car clearly set up for this track as they go through the final corner. Let's see what Stroll is able to do then as he heads down the pit straight, and across the line goes the Canadian. And what's the time going to be? He doesn't improve and stays in 5th place with that lap. So at the moment it is still Russell at the top, with Gasly in 2nd, Rosenqvist in 3rd, de Vries in 4th, and Stroll rounding out the top 5. So that's currently how the leaderboard stands at this stage. Is de Vries now then fricking the car through the chicanes, taking a lot of curb through into there as best as possible. As de Vries now then will be heading back into the pits, and obviously this is the I believe this is now the former base of Formula E. I think they've moved out since, because it was their home for the next seasons, but I think they've just moved out now to a different location. I don't know where, because now I think that's where the new offices for the heads up at Donington are now based at. Because I saw a picture earlier on today of them at their new base, which is just at the Melbourne Hairpin, which is where Formula E's base was. So, as you can see now, then into the pits goes Nick de Vries, as now here, as you can see, there's the top 5: Russell, Gasly, Rosenqvist, de Vries and Stroll. Just over 24 minutes remaining in the session to determine the grid for tomorrow's feature race here at Donington, ahead of the European Grand Prix for the top class. As is that some track activity about to play in from a Red Bull Academy car? Didn't look like it. Stroll now then going through the second to last corner, and he will now just peel into the pits as he finishes off his 2nd flying lap. He's got in total 7 laps. It should be 6 when he crosses the line. So we're off 6 more flying laps to complete for Lance Stroll. And I think I saw some cars in front going out onto the track. And yes, there was only one in the form of Lando Norris, who's way down in 11th place at the moment. The man that currently languishes in 2nd place in the Drivers' Championship, battling with the Red Bull Academy and fellow compatriot of George Russell, and even having a fight with Felix Rosenqvist behind as well. I think the top 4 in the Drivers' Championship, no, in fact, scrap that, that's wrong. I was going to say the top 4 was consisting of both Red Bull Academies and light-based Sony racing cars, but that's not true, because Evans is currently in 4th at the moment in the Vortex racing car, tied with 3 other guys in that place, but Evans currently in front because of his victory this season. Which came at the sprint race at Bahrain about 3 weeks ago now, that was. So now in towards the chicane then will go Lando Norris, as he will prepare to start his next flying lap now then. There's Nobuharu Matsushita is now out on track, as is George Russell. Sean Galayo out on track as well, as is Mitch Evans, Sasha Fenestraz, Joel Eriksson, Alex Lynn, Pierre Gasly, Sergei Sorokin, Luca Chiotto, his teammate Julian Palmer, Santiago Iricia and Felix Rosenqvist are all expected to come out onto the track as well, as now Norris heads in towards the final corner. And let's see what he's able to do as he heads down the pit straight to start his next flying lap. There's a load of cars in front there just going out of pit lane, and Norris hoping that nobody is at the end of the pit lane when he approaches, which they aren't. So Norris is able to get a clean lap in as he tries to improve upon 11th place, because so far that first flying lap didn't prove to be good for the young Brit, as he heads down the hill towards the left-hander, and he'll then approach the hold hairpin. I think that was Felix Rosenqvist that just came into view behind. I think he's just come out onto the track a little bit later than when Norris went in towards turn 1 there, as he heads up the hill towards McLean's, and now up towards the double left-hander we go at double right-hander we go at Coppers, and it is Rosenqvist. I just recognise the helmet in the background there, and we'll be able to see soon what Norris is able to do on this lap as he heads down the straight now then towards the chicane on the track now then, the quick left-right chicane. So in towards the corner he goes, then through the left and right hand, there we go. And now up towards the Melbourne hairpin we will go, and let's see what Norris is able to do then on this flying lap now as he breaks down towards the hairpin. And I remember in real life in Formula 1, I think this was around 76 laps. So I think the top class will be doing around 76 laps around this track on Sunday. As now Norris now then goes out of the final corner, and is this going to be an improvement then for Lando Norris as he now crosses the line and he goes up to 5th, so a big improvement, but still not at towards the front at this stage as Rosenqvist behind starting a lap. Here comes Nobuharu Matsushita, who heads out of the final corner. Onto the pit straight he goes, and Matsushita crosses the line to go up to 9th. So Matsushita gets into the top 10. Russell doesn't improve, stays on 1 minute 18.701. Here comes Sean Gallal, currently 8th, and he goes up to 7th. So both, at the moment, Holy Trinity Racing, it proved that both Gallal and Matsushita have some really good quali pace. Race pace, maybe not. Possibly in the sprint race, maybe, because of the reverse grid, but they have some pace in qualifying, it must be said. So still 10th for Evans, still 16th for Fenestras. Well, it's now 17th because Ericsson has got up into 14th, his teammate in the Lopez Racing Development car. Here comes Alex Lynn in the Macamo as he heads down the pit straight, and Lynn crosses the line and improves to go up to 6th. So a big improvement there for Lynn to go up into 6th place. Gasly doesn't improve, stays in 2nd place, still a few hundredths behind Russell at this stage, as here comes Sergei Sirotkin in the EMR, currently in 12th place, heading down the pit straight, and Sirotkin will now cross the line, and he goes up to 8th, so he gets into the top 10 himself. Giotto, his teammate, stays in the cusp of the top 10, staying in 10th, as up into 9th place goes Palmer, so now Giotto is outside the top 10. Up to 20th goes Santiago Urrutia, so not much of an improvement for Urrutia, but still an improvement for the Uruguay driver. Here comes Felix Rosenqvist then, across the line comes the Swedish driver, and he goes up to 2nd, so now the Red Bull Academies lock out the front row, as Rosenqvist gets up into 2nd place, very close between the top 3, only a few hundredths between Russell, Rosenqvist and Gasly in this qualifying session, so very close between the two Red Bull Academies and the Academy car of Gasly at this stage, very close indeed here in qualifying. But still, it is currently Russell, the championship leader, at the top of the timing sheets. At this stage, here's Gasly now dropped down to 3rd because Rosenqvist has got his Red Bull Academy car up into 2nd place, and Gasly should be going back into the pits this lap. And peeling into the pits he goes as the Macamo car there in front goes into the pits himself as he now heads down pit lane. And pulling into the pit box then goes Pierre Gasly. And let's see what he's able to... As you can see, look at that, only 200ths separating the top 3 at this stage. A very close qualifying session between all 3 of them, and I honestly think this is possibly going to be a very exciting qualifying session. Out on track now then we have Norman Nato, who's down in 21st at the moment, and looks like the Sakia pace that he showed in qualifying seems to have haunted him here in Donington Park, unless he can get his foot down just like his teammate did a little earlier on and move up the field. But we will wait and see on that now then, as Nato goes through McLean's, so he uses a lot of curb on the outside before going up into Coppice corner. And Nato had a very strong weekend, it must be said, last time out at Catalonia, and he's looking to try and continue that if he can. Now, one note I need to bring out, of course, and I will tell people after this stream is finished, of course, during the weekend, is that on Monday, I haven't put the schedule up yet for it, but I will after this live stream as well. On Monday, we have a mid-season test for IFMC, and that takes place at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. So for anybody in the top class who are wondering how it's going to work, basically the only drivers you're allowed to use in that test is between your S4 drivers and your S4 test drivers. So like it was in the pre-season test, that is how it's going to work, and it's only 1 day of mid-season testing at the Red Bull Ring, just so that you are aware. As you can see there, Nato had to jam on the brakes there as Tickton was coming out, and that's already affected the Frenchman's flying lap there then. And well, any chance of him moving up into towards close enough to his teammate Lando Norris looks to have gone down the toilet as a result, because now Tickton has affected his lap as he was coming out of pit lane there as he goes up the hill towards the McLaren's now then, as they go under the invisible bridge. There is meant to be a bridge because of the textures there ain't, because that is where the bridge where Nigel Mansell back in 1993 in the British Touring Car Championship knocked himself unconscious after a collision with Tiff Needell after losing the back end at the old hairpin, and as a result, as he tried to correct it, Tiff collected the side of him and knocked him unconscious at that bridge, pretty much ending Mansell's weekend there then. It was a very jam-packed weekend that time around because of Nigel Mansell, and unfortunately that happened to him, but thankfully he was okay. It was only I think it was like a concussion or something he suffered from that, but there you are then. Meantime, Nato then around the old hairpin he goes. He's got Mick Schumacher behind him waiting to start his next flying lap, but as we know, Nato's lap has already been compromised by Dan Ticktum as we now go in towards the final corner, and let's see what Nato is able to do then. Down the pit straight and across the line he will go, and let's see then, he doesn't improve and stays in 21st position as Mick Schumacher now then starts a lap behind, as is Sean Galal and Sergei Sirotkin, and as will George Russell. Now we look at Louis Razier, who looks to be holding up Sasha Fenestraz. Fenestraz's flying lap, which will be next lap, is looking to be compromised by Razier. Razier so far has just struggled this season in the Willows Grand Prix car, and well, it seems that he's lost some pace from last season after having a decent season 3 with Macamo, but things haven't gone according to pot since he joined Willows Grand Prix this season. So let's see what Louis Razier can do, and he doesn't improve. He stays in 17th. Look like Fenestraz also compromised his lap a little bit there, but now Razier's going to compromise Fenestraz's lap. Not an improvement for Evans. He stays 13th, still 19th for Vips. As we now look at Nick de Vries, who's just going around the final corner, and let's see what the Dutch driver can do in the GRM. De Vries now then across the line he will go, and he doesn't improve, stays in 4th place. Here's teammate Lance Stroll heading out the final corner, and let's see what the teenage Canadian can do. Across the line he will go, and doesn't improve, stays in 7th place. Still 5th for Lando Norris. Lucas Jura stays 14th, as here comes Dan Ticktum, who's currently occupying last place at the minute in the RSPCA racing car. But let's see if Ticktum is able to improve now then, heading out the final corner and onto the pit straight. Ticktum now then across the line, and he goes up to 17th, so an improvement there for Daniel Ticktum. Mick Schumacher across the line to go up to 14th, so only 14th place for him there. Still 10th for Sean Galal. Here comes Sergei Sirotkin in the EMR heading out of the final corner, and let's see what he's able to do then. Sirotkin crosses the line and he stays in 8th place, no improvement for him. As here comes current pole sitter George Russell heading in towards the final corner. Can he improve on a 1 minute 18.701? Russell out of the final corner, down the pit straight and across the line goes George Russell, and he doesn't improve, stays on a 1 minute 18.701. As here comes Sasha Fenestraz in the Lopez Racing Development car, and his lap got compromised as a result of Razier, and he stays 19th as a result there then. So that's that at the present moment, as don't think anybody else was behind Fenestraz. No, they weren't. So at the moment it is still Russell at the top of the timing sheets, as we have now just over 14 minutes of the qualifying session remaining to determine the grid for tomorrow's feature race. We're 7 minutes away from the 5:30 mark, so that's that really. We are 37 minutes away from the GP3 qualifying session here, which does feature a replacement driver. I will get onto that when we get onto that bit of this stream, as now through the Coppice corner goes Fenestraz, as he'll be going back into the pits this lap, and just chewing some gum, guys. Reasons. Anyway, Luca Giotto now then in the EMR is now out on track for EMR, as I just mentioned, and in fact I'll take it out for a bit. I shouldn't be chewing that much. And there was actually quite a bit of speculation going into Donington with EMR that they were reviewing Sirotkin and Giotto because their first weekend would prove to be a bit of a disaster. But considering that both of them did an incredible job at Catalonia, it seems that EMR have kept them on, and it seems that they have impressed them. But it seems, though, that their Achilles tendon in the EMR is definitely qualifying in the race. It seems that Giotto and Sirotkin have that covered. But I think EMR are desperate for a victory if they can. And so far, their chance of defending a second team's title, having a chance of getting a third team's title, looks to be slipping away at the moment, unless they get their act together very soon. As Giotto now starts a lap in the EMR, and he'll be hoping that Masashita doesn't affect him, which he didn't. Giotto went to the first corner before Masashita went out of the pit lane there, So Giotto having a clean lap there. So Matsushita preparing to start his next flying lap in the Hurley Trinity racing car. Heading down towards the hold hairpin then. Giotto heading out the corner, up the hill towards the quick left and right hander now then. And riding on board with Luca Giotto as he flicks the car in and then in towards McLean's. Out of the corner he will go, using a lot of curb on the outside as he will now approach the double right-hander of Coppice. And Giotto now then looking to try and improve on this lap if he can. And we're hoping that Matsushita doesn't affect him, and Matsushita hoping that Giotto doesn't affect him when he starts his flying lap next time around. Giotto then in towards the chicane, heavily using the curbs there to get the perfect line in. Right now on board with Giotto as he will now approach the second to last corner, which is the Melbourne hairpin. So 2 hairpins left before they finish the lap. And using a tad bit of curb there, out of the corner he will go. And now Giotto approaches the final corner. And let's see what the young Italian is able to do then. Round the final corner and onto the pit straight goes Luca Giotto. And let's see, across the line then goes Giotto. Is this going to be an improvement? Nope, stays in a length with that lap as Matsushita starts the lap, and I wouldn't be surprised if Giotto is going to affect him on that lap. Palmer and Razzie, the 2 Willows Grand Prix cars, are about to start a lap. And a few cars behind them also on laps. This is Santiago Uricia, currently in 21st, but according to his steering wheel there, he seemed to be up on his personal best in the middle sector, but only by 33 thousandths of a second there. So that's that really. So not really much there then for Santiago Uricia as he will now approach the final corner. And onto the pit straight then goes Santiago Uricia. And across the line he goes. It's going to be an improvement. Nope, lost time in the last sector and stays in second to last. His teammate stays in 6th for the moment, as he's going way quicker than Uricia so far in this qualifying session. Here is Felix Rosenqvist currently in second. Can he try and grab pole off his teammate and make it a 3rd consecutive feature race pole position? Rosenqvist now then through the final corner and onto the pit straight he will go. And across the line goes the Season 3 IFMC GP3 champion, and he improves to go fastest. So Rosenqvist now goes to the top. He beats his teammate, and Rosenqvist goes fastest. De Vries stays in 4th. Gasly stays 3rd, like De Vries held him up there on that lap. Ericsson improves, but stays in 16th place. Here comes Nobuharu Matsushita, who comes around the final corner. Currently in 12th place, outpaced by teammate Sean Galayo. Matsushita crosses the line and stays in 12th place at this stage. Here comes Jolyon Palmer then heading out of the final corner. Onto the pit straight he goes, and Palmer crosses the line and stays 9th for the moment. His teammate goes up to 17th and has finished his final flying lap. So again, another disappointing qualification for Razzie, but still an improvement for him. Here comes Lucas Jura, the young Austrian now then heading out of the final corner in the Vortex racing car. Jura now then crossing the line and stays 15th. No improvement. He finishes off his laps as well. I wonder if we'll get a situation where qualifying will finish early today for GP2, as we're 2 minutes away from the 5:30 mark. Across the line goes Lance Stroll on his final flying lap and doesn't improve to stay in 7th place at this stage. Mick Schumacher now then in the Academy car now then heads up towards the final corner, and let's see what the teenage German can do. The son of 7-time Formula 1 world champion Michael Schumacher heading down the pit straight, and Schumacher now then is going to cross the line and he stays 14th. No improvement for him. So that's that then at this stage, as that's that for him. As now we look at Dan Ticktum in the RSPCA racing car, as they will now head up the hill towards McLean's. And so now through the right hander he will go, using a lot of curb on the outside there before approaching Coppice corner. Just have to put my chum in my mouth for a bit, otherwise it will go everywhere on my hands. So Ticktum now then out on track as he prepares to start his next flying lap. Probably not a good idea to have chum on the screen. Next time I will remember. And so then Dan Ticktum now then as he approaches the second to last corner. Sorry if you can hear my dog in the background being wappy. Mick Schumacher is going back into the pits. He hasn't come back out. Ticktum's teammate Vips is also coming out. So both RSPCA racing cars looking to complete their final flying laps, as we have just under 8.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session to determine the grid for the feature race tomorrow. And so Ticktum now is starting his lap. Luckily for him, his teammate wasn't there, or anybody else for that matter, at the exit of the pit lane, so Ticktum should be able to get a clean lap in there. And so now heading down the hill towards the left-hander before approaching the old hairpin. Tictum now then, going as fast as possible to see if he can try and improve in front of his home fans as well. A load of Brits in this series. And whereas there's only 2 Brits in the top class, and also I think 3 Brits actually now in GP3. Here there's quite a few in fact. I can't remember off the top of my head how many there is, but there's a lot of Brits in this series to support for the British fans who come here to watch the European Grand Prix here at Donington. This was meant to be the Monaco Grand Prix, but because of issues again with the new testing system I have with that track, it reverted to Donington. There was a vote to decide what would replace it. It was between this track, Paul Ricard, Jerez, and the Red Bull Ring, and a majority voted this track, Donington Park. So that's why we're here for the 6th race of the season. It was quite a close vote as well, but Donington just pipped everybody else to become round 6 of the championship. So now Tictum now then up towards the final corner, and let's see what Dan is able to do then as he heads down the pit straight and across the line goes the young Brit, and he doesn't improve, stays 18th with that lap. Mitch Evans about to start a lap of his Kyoto, and Russell and Matsushita and Norris and Galio and Van der Straat and Gasly and Sirotkin and Ericsson. Meantime, his teammate appears to be down on his personal time in the first sector there as he heads up the hill through McLean's, as he will now approach the double right-hander now then. So Vips getting the car tucked in through this corner, and now we will go up towards the chicane, and Vips now then in towards the quick left-right chicane on the track, and let's see what he's able to do now then as he goes into the corner through the left, then the right, using a lot of the curb on the outside before approaching the second to last corner. And let's see what Vips is able to do then. Around he goes then, around the right-hander, out of the corner, heading down towards the final corner. Let's see if Vips is able to improve here away and counter out what he did in the first sector. 6 minutes remaining in the session, just over 6 minutes to go. Down the pit straight and across the line goes Yuri Vips. Can he get out of second to last place, get off the back row? No, he can't. Stays in 21st position. Here comes Santiago Urishi, about to start a lap, hoping to get out of last place himself. As here comes Mitch Evans through the final corner, and onto the pit straight he will go. And let's see what Evans is able to do then. Down the pit straight and across the line he will go, and he stays 13th. Another disappointing qualifying session then for the Kiwi, Luca Chiotto. Across the line goes the young Italian, and he stays in 11th, unable to get into the top 10. Russell, unable to improve, stays in second place, unable to beat teammate Felix Rosenqvist yet again. Still 12th for Navarro Machita, still 5th for Lando Norris, as here comes Sasha Fenestraz in the Lopez Racing Development car. Up towards the final corner he will go, and down the pit straight and across the line he will go. Let's see what Fenestraz is able to do. Across the line, and he goes up to 17th, so an improvement there for the Frenchman. Julian Palmer about to start a lap. Here comes Pierre Gasly, who's currently in 3rd. Can he try and split the 2 Red Bull Academies if he can, or even beat them? Out of the final corner, onto the pit straight, then goes Pierre Gasly. Across the line goes the Frenchman, and he doesn't improve, stays in 3rd place, unable to split the 2 Red Bull Academies. Sirotkin across the line stays in 8th place, no improvement for the Russian. Joel Eriksson now then, heading down the pit straight, under 5 minutes remaining. Eriksson crosses the line and goes up to 8th for that lap. So Eriksson with a pretty good time to get up into the top 6, top 10, a very good improvement. Eriksson up into 8th place with that lap. Here comes Santiago Urishi. Out of the final corner he goes, and across the line goes the Uruguay driver, and he goes up to 17th, so he pushes Vips down to last. So up to 17th goes Santiago Urishi. And is that everybody done? No, Julian Palmer's on the lap. He's currently in 10th place, just in the cusp of the top 10 in the Willows Grand Prix car, as he now just flicks the car through the chicane. And now up towards the second to last corner will go Julian Palmer. And so now in towards the second to last corner, then we'll go Julian Palmer as he heads down the straight we go. But now up towards the final corner, and let's see what Julian Palmer is able to do then. Down the pit straight and across the line goes the young Brit, and Palmer now then stays in 10th, no improvement for him. So that's the end of that for him, as Rosenqvist is back out to do one more flying lap. And is he the only one left to do a lap? No, there's a few cars in the pits, so we might not finish the session early. It looks like we could be finishing on time, as Rosenqvist heads down towards turn 1 in the hope of improving his pole position lap. Through turn 1 then goes Felix Rosenqvist as he heads out of turn 1, heading down the hill towards the left-hander. And Rosenquist now then out the corner, up towards the old hairpin he will go, as he uses a lot of curb on the outside there. Up the hill he goes, in towards McLean's. And Rosenquist yet to get a victory this season. Was robbed in Catalonia in the feature race, and as a result his weekend was already over before he could even have a chance at on lap 2 at turn 3. And as a result he didn't go on to win the race, but he's looking to do that this weekend if he can. So at the moment it's looking good for him to take a third consecutive feature race pole position. As in towards the chicane now then we'll go Felix Rosenquist. So using the curbs pretty heavily through into that corner, as now he will go up towards the second to last corner. And let's see what he's able to do then. Around the second to last corner, up towards the final corner then goes Felix Rosenquist, and let's see what he's able to do. Just under 2.5 minutes remaining in this qualifying session to determine the grid for tomorrow's feature race. Out of the final corner and onto the pit straight we go. Rosenquist crosses the line and he doesn't improve. So he's on 1 minute 18.636 at this stage. So that's that for Rosenquist. As Natto now then goes through the final corner in the hopes of getting out 21st, and he desperately needs to. Luckily he'll get a clean lap it looks like. Learn about to start that, as will De Vries. In fact there's only 4 more cars out on track before the session complete. So, in fact, Natto is now on the lap. He was the next guy on the lap. So, Rosenquist looking good for pole, unless any of these 3 men can stop him. As now down the hill goes Norman Natto now then, as he goes through the old hairpin. He uses a lot of curb on the outside, heading up the hill towards McLean's. And let's see what Natto is able to do then. Round the left and right hander he will go. Up towards Coppice Corner now then goes Norman Natto. And is this going to be an improvement then for the young Frenchman? He heads out of the second part of Coppice. Up towards the chicane he'll go. And so now up towards the left and right hander then goes Norman Natto. Through the left, then the right. Out of the corner using a lot of curb. Up towards the Melbourne hairpin. And let's see if Natto is on for an improvement then. Around the right hander now then. Up towards the final corner. Is Natto going to get himself into the top 10? Is this going to be an improvement for the Frenchman now then? Around the final corner, onto the pit straight, goes Norman Natto, and across the line he will go. And Natto, is this going to be an improvement? And no, it's not. Well, it is, but he stays 21st. So again, Natto struggling in qualifying and looks to be starting on the back row of the grid. Disappointing session for Norman Natto there then. Here comes Alex Lynn in the Macamo car, 30 seconds remaining in this qualifying session. Round the final corner and onto the pit straight he will go. And Lynn, is this going to be an improvement then for the Brit? Across the line, and he does. He goes up to 4th place. So a brilliant time from Lynn. Up to 4th goes Alex Lynn in the Macamo car, and he gets himself into the top 4, pushes De Vries down to 5th. Let's see if De Vries is able to get that position back as he comes out of the final corner. De Vries across the line he'll go, and he doesn't improve. Stays in 5th place, and because there's nobody else out, that is the end of the session there then, as the checker flag is out, and that is the end of the session. So as a result of that, it is Felix Rosenquist for the 3rd consecutive feature race who takes pole position for tomorrow's feature race. And a very close qualifying session in the end, but Rosenquist for the 3rd weekend in a row does it again in qualifying. But can he transfer it into a win this time after failing the last 2 times to convert that pole position into a victory? As now De Vries goes up towards Coppice Corner now then, out of the corner heading in towards the quick left-right chicane, and De Vries will go back into the pits, and it should say qualifying over on the screen quite soon as he flicks the car in. And up towards the second to last corner we will go. And so in towards the Melbourne hairpin then goes Nick De Vries. And we'll be seeing him going into the pits this time around. And it should say qualifying over quite soon. And there you have it then. There you go then. So as mentioned, it is Felix Rosenquist on pole position for tomorrow's feature race for the third consecutive weekend, and his pole position streak continuing. Look how close the top three was in the end, only 800s covering them. So there you have it then, guys. After all of that, here is the grid for tomorrow's feature race here at Donington. Felix Rosenqvist on pole, with George Russell making it a Red Bull Academy front row in second. Pierre Gasly only 800s behind in third. Alex Lynn in fourth with that stonking lap in the end. Nick de Vries fifth. Lando Norris sixth. Lance Stroll 7th, Joel Eriksson an impressive 8th, Sergei Sorokin 9th, Jolene Palmer 10th, Sean Galaro 11th, Luca Kyoto 12th, Nobuharu Matsushita 13th, with Mitch Evans in 14th. And if we scroll down the rest of the field, it is Mick Schumacher a disappointing 15th, with Lucas Giora 16th, Santiago Irishi 17th, Sasha Fenestraz 18th, Louis Razia 19th, with Dan Ticktum 20th, Norman Nato in 21st, and in 22nd is Yuri Vips in the RSPCA racing car. So there you have it then, guys. That is the grid for IFMC GP2 in the qualifying session. Their race will take place tomorrow at 2 PM BST. But stick around now, guys, because coming up next is the qualifying session for IFMC GP3 for race 1 of their series. So that comes underway in just under 20 minutes time. So if you want to go and grab a quick drink, then you can. But until then, I've been JWF1, and I will see you guys in just a little bit.